Here's the thing. Most people think making more money automatically fixes financial stress. Like, if you could just earn a little more, everything would finally click into place. But according to a report from PwC, nearly 60% of adults still feel financially stressed, even after getting raises. And honestly, that should tell us something. I made over $4,000 last year from side hustles. And somehow, I still felt broke. Not pretend broke, not social media broke. I mean genuinely confused every time I opened my banking app. Money came in, but it never stayed. And eventually, I had to ask myself a question I'd been avoiding for months. Where is all of this actually going? Look, I'm not some finance guru. I'm not about to tell you I became a millionaire at 22. I'm just a regular guy who got tired of feeling stuck. Tired of checking my account before buying food. Tired of doing mental math at the grocery store. Tired of pretending everything was fine because technically, I was earning. So I did what everybody tells you to do. I started a side hustle, then another one, and another one. Freelancing, reselling, content editing, affiliate links. I even tried dropshipping for like 3 weeks. That ended exactly how you think it did. And at first, it felt exciting. Because the first money you make online changes something in your brain. You start thinking, wait, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing that finally changes my life. And to be fair, some months were good. I'd make extra cash and suddenly feel ahead. But then something weird would happen. The money disappeared almost as fast as it arrived. And not on bills either. That's the scary part. It disappeared through tiny decisions. A new tool, a course, a subscription, another investment. Stuff I convinced myself I needed in order to level up. And the internet makes this worse. Because everywhere you look, somebody is claiming they cracked the code. Make $10,000 from your laptop. Passive income while you sleep. Quit your job in 90 days. Like, come on. Do you know the average millionaire actually becomes wealthy over decades? Not weeks. According to research from Ramsey Solutions, most millionaires built wealth slowly through consistent investing and long-term discipline. But slow doesn't trend online. Slow doesn't go viral. So nobody wants to hear it. And I fell for that mindset completely. I kept chasing speed. Because deep down, I felt behind. And when people feel behind financially, they stop thinking clearly. That's real psychology, by the way. Urgency changes behavior. You stop asking if something makes sense. You start asking if it'll save you. So I bought courses, watched endless strategy videos, joined communities, downloaded productivity apps, tracked trends, studied algorithms. And somehow, despite working harder than ever, I still felt financially unstable. I remember one night specifically. It was around 1:30 in the morning. My room was dark except for my laptop screen. I had 12 tabs open. One guy was explaining crypto. Another guy was talking about Amazon automation. Another guy said AI would replace everything. And I just sat there thinking, why do I feel more lost the more information I consume? Because information isn't the same thing as direction. And eventually, exhaustion catches up to you. There's this statistic from Bankrate that says a large percentage of Americans still couldn't comfortably cover a major emergency expense. And what's crazy is, a lot of those people are employed. They're earning. They're trying. But income without structure disappears. That's the part nobody teaches. So one Sunday, I finally sat down and looked at everything. And I mean everything. Every dollar I earned. Every subscription. Every random purchase, every course, every late-night investment. And honestly, I felt sick. Because the issue wasn't that I couldn't make money. The issue was that I had absolutely no system for keeping it. I was pouring water into a bucket full of holes and calling it ambition. Look, this part matters. Most people struggling financially are not lazy. They're overwhelmed. They're distracted. They're emotionally reacting to money instead of managing it. And honestly, that's understandable. Because nobody really teaches financial structure in a way that feels human. They just say things like, budget better, spend less, invest, cool. But when your brain is stressed, exhausted, and comparing itself to everybody online, that advice feels almost impossible to follow. So I simplified everything. And weirdly, that's when things started changing. First, I tracked my money honestly. No guessing, no pretending. No, I'll check later. I needed clarity, and clarity is uncomfortable before it becomes empowering. Second, I stopped throwing money at every new opportunity. That one hurt. Because chasing new ideas feels productive. But sometimes it's just financial procrastination. You're avoiding the boring work that actually builds stability. So instead of buying more promises, I started building assets. Slowly, quietly, automatically. Index funds, savings, emergency reserves. Stuff that sounds boring in YouTube thumbnails. But boring works. And look, I know discipline isn't exciting. No one wants to hear that wealth is mostly repetition. But it's true. According to historical market data from Vanguard, long-term consistent investing has outperformed most attempts to rapidly time the market. Consistency beats intensity more often than people realize. And something strange happened after a few months. My stress started shrinking. Not because I became rich, but because I finally stopped guessing. I had a plan. I knew where my money was going. I knew what my side hustle income was for before it even arrived. And for the first time in years, I felt financially awake. Look, freedom isn't always this huge, dramatic moment. Sometimes freedom is just opening your banking app without anxiety. Sometimes freedom is having savings. Sometimes freedom is sleeping without money, panic sitting on your chest. And honestly, that's enough to change your life. So if you're out here grinding, working nonstop, trying to earn your way out of stress, I need you to hear this part carefully. More income will not automatically fix financial chaos. If your systems are broken, bigger income just creates bigger confusion. Your relationship with money matters more than your hype around money. And the people who quietly build wealth? They usually aren't the loudest. They're the most consistent. So do the audit. Seriously. Sit down. Look at the numbers. All of them. Not to judge yourself. Not to feel ashamed. But because clarity changes behavior. And behavior changes everything. I thought I needed another side hustle. What I actually needed was structure. And weirdly, that changed my entire life. I'm David, and I'll see you in the next one.